Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of the Shuffle Up podcast. This is Shuffle Up on Deck. This is a live edition of the Shuffle Up podcast, and I am solo. I am Joseph King. We are live here on the Mindset TW YouTube channel, and this will be going up later on the Shuffle Up podcast channel. I hope everyone is having a good night. This is a kind of a little bit of a depressing episode we have going on here, as it's pretty well documented. We had some losses in the world this week, the most recent being Hulk Hogan, which passed away earlier in the day on the 24th. I guess this is midnight, 25th, so he died on the 24th. 71 years old. From what I believe, it was cardiac arrest. And then obviously Ozzy Osbourne as well. I know he was struggling with I believe it was Parkinson's. I want to make sure I get that right. Parkinson's, yep. So he had Parkinson's, leading to his death. Very unfortunate for both situations there. So we're going to go over and we're going to talk a little bit about these. I don't know how long this is going to go. I'm here live. I have chat, so I can go ahead and read along with chat if anyone has anything to comment on. So yeah, it was really unfortunate earlier in the week when we lost Ozzy. It was insane that he went and did the Black Sabbath concert, and a few weeks later we lost him. This is crazy enough, like if to put in comparison to wrestling, like this is something that's happened in a way. Like Sabu very recently as well had his GCW match against Joey Janela, I believe, and then shortly later passed away. Ultimate Warrior was kind of similar. He had a match on Raw, I believe, a couple weeks later, or maybe it was very recent. I'm not sure exactly when. Passed away as well. Insane. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know a whole lot of Ozzy. Definitely enjoy his music whenever I hear it. Black Sabbath as well. I really enjoyed his solo album Ordinary Man when he released that. I think it was a very nice, like, personal storytelling album. I thought that was amazing, and I know he's obviously plenty of hits. My Mom Come On Home is an amazing song as well. Yeah, it's crazy. I think he was able to live a very long life for what he was dealing with, and also because of his past. I believe it was, with drug use and drinking and the lifestyle, I guess, of the time. It was not. I think he went out on good terms. I'm pretty certain with that. Yeah, it's super unfortunate. The one, the main reason why we're doing this is obviously Hulk Hogan. Kind of why I'm putting on this Mindset channel also, because I cannot actually stream on the Shuffle Up podcast, to be transparent. We're waiting. I just did it, and so I got to wait 24 hours from like 5 o'clock. So we couldn't go live on that channel. But obviously Hulk Hogan, major figure in wrestling, and arguably, and I don't think it's really an argument, I think everyone will pretty much tell you, the biggest personality when it comes to wrestling. Obviously there's The Rock, John Cena, Batista, the people that have crossed over into mainstream. But I feel like most people, when they think of a professional wrestler, they think of Hulk Hogan, the first wrestler to kind of go into mainstream in terms of like acting and movies and shows and, late night talk shows and all that kind of stuff. He really put a huge spotlight on professional wrestling that nobody had before, and I don't know if anyone could do it. Like if Hogan didn't do it, I don't know who would have done it, if anyone. it's tricky. And obviously I've heard all sorts of conversations about it. If you haven't, I recommend listening to Busted Open, Not Sam Live, and Jonathan Coachman's show Off the Ropes on the Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. I think they definitely did plenty of good coverage today of Hulk Hogan. But I noticed that there was a few people that were like, brought up the fact that saying he deserved a second chance. I even had Ric Flair, I was there. Ric Flair was talking about people are trying to erase Hogan, and I don't think that's true. I think it's just a tricky subject, and I wouldn't necessarily consider it erasing, but people just, a lot of times don't want to talk about Hogan because there's always that like asterisk, right, of who he was politically in the business, right? How he was backstage, how he treated people backstage, and then obviously the elephant in the room, the just straight up racist things he said. And moving on into more recent times with the association with Donald Trump and things like that, there's just an asterisk, right? And just people were genuinely sick of seeing him. So I feel like we have to look at both perspectives, right? So basically, he did such good things. He revolutionized, he put such a huge spotlight on professional wrestling, but he also really the spotlight that he got, right, from professional wrestling, I feel like he definitely used it unintentionally to make himself look bad. And I don't think that something that's gonna go away. Like I said, there's that asterisk by his name. When you think of Hulk Hogan, you're like WrestleMania, Hulkamania, racist. It's unfortunate. It's such a difficult like mindset. I knew I wanted to do this, so I was kind of thinking in my head like the conversation I wanted to have. To be honest, I don't know, because I feel both ways, right? You want to respect him, but it's hard not to. I mean, it's hard to at times, right? Because you can detach the artist from the art. You can do that, but it's hard, right? With what he said. But also there is he is so important in wrestling. He is so important in wrestling, and obviously there's probably people that will disagree. Whatever, they're just saying things because they're upset, right? But that's not it. I mean, there's no WWE is nothing what it is without him. Him and Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's another situation that it's just so complicated. The emotions are so complicated, right? It's tough. I know he's definitely been in conversations recently about greatest heel turn of all time, right? John Cena recently turned heel. People were like, this is the best. And it was good. It was definitely really good. But there's nothing topping Hogan's turn joining the NWO. There's nothing topping that, right? So, the legacy of Hogan is just every decade there's something, right? There's Hogan coming up, but then you got the Hulkamania Hogan, you got him joining WCW, you got NWO, you got NWO returning to WWE, you have him versus The Rock where they switched places, right? Going into it, Hogan was the heel, Rock was the face. But everyone loved Hogan so much that they basically swapped places. Once they left that match, Hogan was a good guy and Rock was a bad guy. And then you got face Hogan, obviously, like I just said. Then you got Hogan being removed from the Hall of Fame. I remember that was around the time that I was watching that he was out of the Hall of Fame, and it was like they didn't mention him on TV. They didn't have him in the video games. He was just basically removed, right? Similar situations like Chris Benoit, they removed him from history. CM Punk at the time removed him from history. Then they brought him back. They, they started to acknowledge him again, and they got a lot of backlash. I remember the WrestleMania where he came out with Titus O'Neil, and it was like Titus would speak and everyone would cheer, and then Hogan would speak and everyone would boo. It's like, I think it was a WrestleMania, so it was like a stadium full of people booing Hulk Hogan and cheering Titus O'Neil. It's the most cheers Titus O'Neil probably had gotten in his life, just because he was beside Hulk Hogan. And then he continues to run his mouth. Then we get to the Raw on Netflix, which was the craziest response to Hogan I've seen. Everyone, it just could not get words out while he was kind of promo. Everyone was booing him so much. You couldn't really hear what he was saying. Jimmy Hart looking so uncomfortable back there, waving the flag, the American flag that he had. It was just, it was so difficult to watch. I'm like, are they booing? Like, oh yeah, they're booing. Oh, they're booing bad. They're booing real bad. Jimmy Hart's so uncomfortable in the back. I mean, that's pretty much... And again, that's kind of, obviously that's very condensed, right? But he start to finish almost like it once his in-ring career ended, it was like unfortunate downhill. There's all the talk about him being difficult to work with, and abusing his creative control contract, the famous "that's not going to work for me, brother." That phrase, the finger poke of doom. It's bad. I mean, you can point a lot of the downfall of WCW because of Hulk Hogan and the politics that happened on. Obviously, there's the Who Killed WCW documentary where it goes into all the different angles, but I mean, Hogan's one of them, you know. But you also got to appreciate the rise of WCW. We wouldn't have had the Monday Night Wars if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. Like, both ways, like both companies, WWF and WCW, improved because of that, right? Hulk Hogan left WWF, so they had to change. They had to make things better. So they started rebuilding their roster with younger talent. That's when we got Triple H, we got The Rock, we got Steve Austin. You know, we got Ken Shamrock. All the Attitude Era formed because of them needing to fix things after Hogan. And then you got WCW, where Hogan went and feuded with the Dungeon of Doom, right? But it didn't matter because it was Hogan. Him versus the Giant and the monster trucks. That's going to be like one of the top memories of Hogan for me, is him and the Giant had a monster truck fight. I assume it wasn't them, but they had their own custom monster trucks, and the Giants ended up going into the lake or the ocean or river. I can't remember which one it was, but they were on top of the building and pushed him off into the water. And then Hogan's out thinking that he's all good and safe, and then here comes the Giant. The Dungeon of Doom was, I don't know, I would say on paper good, but I don't know even if it was on paper good. The Yeti, which surprisingly didn't look like a Yeti. It was a man covered in it was like a guy with bandages, like a mummy. I don't know if, I feel like I'm like putting that together now because I'm picturing the Yeti in my head when I was just talking about him. Like, yeah, he's just a guy in bandages. Why is he called the Yeti? But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the most I've seen of Hogan, is that WCW era. Because going back and watching WCW on the network, obviously one of the most iconic moments of all time, not even just wrestling, but of all time, I'd say, is him slamming Andre the Giant for the first time. But back then, people didn't have footage of it, so this was a big deal seeing it on WrestleMania. They built it up as the first time, so him body slamming the Andre the Giant for the first time. I mean, it's iconic. It's super, super iconic. I mean, another great heel turn with Andre the Giant for that feud. It's great. I mean, Hogan did have a great career. You cannot argue that, and that's the hard part with it, right? The separating him from that personal side. The dangerous personal side. It's insane. But I think that is genuinely all I got. It's a very short episode. I just kind of wanted to come on and kind of reminisce, kind of talk about my conflicted feelings. I guess that was right the first time. Yeah, that's genuinely all I got. It is a sad day. Definitely a sad day. It's very hard to think about a day, but I hope you guys have a good. I'll see you guys next time.